Welcome to Current Issues. I'm your host, Hesham Tillawi. Welcome to the program, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we will be discussing the programming of a nation. What does it take, and who does the programming? I'm speaking about the programming of brains, 320 million of them to be programmed. Now, programming of a nation is not something new. It has been going on since probably the human beings have lived in colonies together. Somebody had to do the programming based on the rulers' decisions, ambitions, and opinion. Well, or those who control the rulers. Now, the United States is not exempt from this programming. As a matter of fact, the United States probably is the classical case for the programming of a nation. What does it take to program a nation? Now, as you know, most people are busy with life, going to work, raising children. They don't have time to worry about what the government is doing or what the media is doing because they're busy. Now, they do depend, though, on the media to give them and let them know what's going on in the world. They see it as their savior sometimes, because the media will tell you when there is danger in the area. It will also tell you what's going on in the nation, what's going on in the world. It is more of an entertainment and entertaining chore than anything else. You go home, you turn on your TV, and you relax, probably watching a movie or watching an episode of a comedy show or a talk show. But then many of you listen to news organizations like Fox and CNN, because news is what we like. And news is what people really pay attention to. And they think news is real, because after all, news is the plural of new. And everybody wants to know what's new. Except there's really a thin line between fiction and news. Someone can manipulate this news, and your brain does not really know the difference. It does not know if you are watching reality show, fiction, or just news. Now, with technology the way it is, and with everything that is connected the way it is much simpler to actually program your brains with what they want. Whichever way they want you to go, you will be. Because that's what happens on the news. That's how they program your brain. Now, in 2002, they programmed your brain to accept that Saddam was an evildoer. He's an evildoer. They programmed you to know that and to accept that we, the United States of America, is the divine one. We, the good nation. We, the nation that God wants us to go and take care of things in the world, because our president, George Bush, said so. He said God told him to go and take out Saddam Hussein. He prayed for it. And many of you, because many of you like God, and you believe in him, and even those of you who don't believe in him, probably in the back of your mind, there's somewhere in there, you probably think he likes you, even though you don't believe in him. But we are a religious nation, and therefore we accept it when a president, even though we did not accept the president himself because he was an idiot, he was an alcoholic, he was a gambler, he screwed up every business he was involved in, and he screwed up this nation. But we accepted the fact because it was God told him to go and take out Saddam Hussein. And because we are God's people, and therefore we accepted it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you accepted it because for months they bombarded you in the media, all of them, no exception. But of course, they do play roles. You know, you have Fox Network that is in your eyes, Zionist network. You have CNN that is in your eye, semi-Zionist network. And then you have CNBC, which is, they try to portray themselves as against everybody else. Actually, MSNBC. And therefore, the old network, ABC, NBC, CBS, they're kind of in the middle. They're probably more of a Playboy channels now that don't have much material except to mess up your brains and your children's brains. That's Hollywood. But that's also programming. And even in those programming that you see on those channels, they program you the way they want you to think, act, behave, and believe. Well, in 2002, the talking heads of Fox Network and others made you believe 100% beyond any reasonable doubt that Saddam Hussein is an evildoer who must be taken out. He has weapons of mass destruction. He is a threat to the world. We must go and kill them on their streets before they come and kill us on our streets. You believed it. You went for it. 9 years later, we are in a big mess. Even though George Bush lied to us, even though you know he lied to you, you still can't do anything about it, and that's what they count on. Because by the time you figure out the game, it's too late, and they know you're not going to do anything about it. You have to move on because, remember, you're busy with life and chores and schools and raising children and whatever else that you might be doing. They know the game. They have these brilliant people working for them to make you understand and do the things they want done. Well, Glenn Beck played a huge game and a huge role in that. Of course, he was with CNN at that time. He was bashing Muslims and bashing black people and bashing everything else in the world. But that was okay because it was Glenn Beck. It was the new kid on the block that everybody was excited about because he was the new style of shouting journalism, which we probably did that way before he did that, the shouting journalism. Actually, we calmed down here. Those of you who met me 9 years ago on this show, you know I used to shout. Not anymore. I do it every once in a while just for the heck of it because it's fun to shout. Because nobody is in front of me, I guess I don't see who I'm shouting at, but I'm shouting at somebody. And they think if somebody does shouting or crying, you know, we've seen Glenn Beck cry. We'll show you some pictures of him crying too. And we showed you on this program, we did not want to repeat that because it will be kind of boring. But we did show you how Glenn Beck in this picture and on many of his TV shows, how he cries. And it's a trick. We did this trick right here on this program and I cried. All you have to do is just rub under the eyes with a little bit of menthol and whatever, that Vicks menthol. And just rub it right here and all of a sudden you'll be crying like a baby. That's how he did it, and we showed you that's what they did to him in the back before they turned the cameras on. Anyway, the man is a liar. He lies, but yet they are using the heck out of him. You know, I believe he is going to be the new Rush Limbaugh. You know, Rush Limbaugh probably, he's been there since probably about 1990, the first Gulf War. The man is getting senile and probably needs to go, so they are prepping. And we have a picture of both of them together, so just in case if you forgot how Rush Limbaugh looks like. Glenn Beck is the new kid on the block. They kind of look close, I guess. They kind of look alike or something. But Glenn Beck is going to be the new kid. Now, I remember when everybody hated, especially everybody in the truth movement, they hated Glenn Beck, and then a couple of years back, they figured out that, you know what, Ron Paul is on to something. And that something was the Tea Party, except it was not called the Tea Party, it was called the Ron Paul Party, or the Ron Paul Movement. Well, he created a movement that Fox Network figured out we better snatch this away from him before he messes things up for us. And they turned Glenn Beck to be the Tea Party man. They brought in Sarah Palin and Sean Hannity. They did the first Tea Party tax day, you remember that, 2 years ago. They sent their best anchormen and women to San Antonio, Texas. That's where Glenn Beck went. Sean Hannity, I think, went to New York somewhere, New Jersey. And they sent others, and they had like a Tea Party kickoff convention on that tax day. Everybody loved what Glenn Beck was saying because he was saying things what people wanted to hear. He started talking about the Constitution and how bad it was and the government and all this stuff, and people thought, wow. Even though this was the same man who programmed them to accept the attack on Iraq, now Glenn Beck was speaking something closer to their heart. Well, they were able to snatch the Tea Party from Ron Paul and named it Tea Party because it was not named as such at that time. Now, Glenn Beck, they finished with the Tea Party. They finished with everything they needed. They are controlling the Tea Party. The Tea Party is not a renegade anymore. They are controlling it to their advantage. Glenn Beck has a new role. Glenn Beck, on the 28th of August, he had his rally at the Lincoln Memorial. It sounded more like a John Hagee rally. It sounded more like a Graham rally. It sounded more like, he sounded like more like an evangelist than anything else. See, at first they got the Constitution people, they got him to follow Glenn Beck and listen to him. People who will raise the flag on the 4th of July, people who believe in the Constitution of the United States, people who believe in the founding fathers of the United States, which of course everybody should. But there's a certain breed of people, they kind of, don't want to say overdo it, but let's call them the patriotic. You see, Glenn Beck likes to divide people into different segments, and that's exactly how they work. They have experts who will divide the nation into different segments of population based on many things. Namely, how far in the programming are you? People who are hard to program, people who are easy to program, people who are programmed permanently to believe in one thing and one thing only. Now Glenn Beck wants to capitalize on religion. He wants to capitalize on Martin Luther King and the I Have a Dream. Even though Glenn Beck, he did it on August 28th at the Lincoln Memorial, just a week ago. 2 weeks ago. So Glenn Beck on September 28th had a rally. He thinks it's a successful rally. I have a dream, and he said, I have a dream speech, a dream of his own, a dream of his nation, restoring the nation, as if we had to restore the nation from what? Restoring the honor of the nation just by having another liar with another lie supplied by millions of dollars from David Horowitz, who is a Zionist, a well-known Zionist? Is that what the nation, restoring the honor of the nation, is that what it is about? So Glendick now is, and of course, many people are going with him. Many people believe in him. Just as they believed in him in the Tea Parties, now they believe in him in this thing. Well, we are going to actually discuss this Glendick thing, but mainly because how you are being programmed and why. Let's go ahead. We're going to play a couple of videos for you. And these things are taken out of the rally. I want you to listen carefully. Not that I'm putting people down, but I want you to listen carefully to who they pry on, who the people in these rallies are. Let's go ahead and play the first two videos.
Hi, I'm Nick Gillespie with Reason TV, and we're at the Lincoln Memorial on the National Mall, waiting for the Glenn Beck Restoring Our Honor rally to start. Later in the day, Beck and Sarah Palin, among others, are going to be talking. We really don't have any idea what's going on here.
From the very beginning of this great country, our faith has driven us to become the greatest people the world has ever known. But now it seems, as darkness begins to grow again, faith is in short supply. To restore America, we must restore ourselves. We must rediscover the values and principles that the founders established. We must restore the faith that once guided us. I have just got word from the media that there is over 1,000 people here today. We are humbled that you are here. And we come to you once again asking for healing, for restoration, for recovery, and for reconciliation.
Well, yes, it's by unification. All religions coming together as one voice in this great country, just to let the government know that we're united as even though we're maybe different religions, we're united as one people in order to change what the government is doing and not representing us. We pay their salaries. They need to know who's the boss.
Why are you here today?
Well, I think that there's a lot going on that's separating the country, and I think that this is about unity. This is about everybody coming together, and I think this is just...
What is the role of religion in your decision to come here today? You're wearing a Catholic Classic t-shirt. So.
Well, it really didn't have much with my decision coming here today, but it definitely, plays a big part in my life, and I know a lot of people here as well.
Religion is important to you. It's important to people here today. What about Judaism or Islam? How does that factor in? Is that okay as well?
Judaism, this Bible was written by Jews. Islam, it doesn't factor in.
What do you mean?
It just doesn't factor in. They're here to kill us. If you're good,
Let's go ahead and try. There's a problem with audio here. Let's go ahead and try the other video. We might
African American.
have a better.
Do you feel welcome in this crowd, or do you feel?
One, two, 1, 2. Check 1, 2.
So what's this rally all about? Why'd you come out for it? Well, I came out, it's my standard answer today. I came out to stand with like-minded people who have strong opinions and similar opinions, and really to pray under God in D.C., to stand out here and to stand together and show people we're not crackpots.
I think it's about taking back America. We got to stand up and take back our country.
Take it back to what we believe it used to be. We just don't like the direction it's going.
Yeah, just restoring honor and freedom, and kind of help the White House people to understand that, we need to, we need to work for, freedom, and, just the things that are going on in the White House right now are just absolutely insane. And, it's becoming, it's just America, it's kind of more becoming, communist, socialist. It's crazy.
The country, as it's going nowadays, is not doing as well. The people don't have the pride in their country they used to have when I grew up. They taught that in schools. They don't do that anymore.
Our doorstep in this country is extremely dirty, and it needs straightened out before we go straighten other people's up.
If we go down, the world is going down behind us. And as it's proven now, the world follows our economy. Except now for China, for example, they're doing very well.
We're the only nation like this in the world, and if we lose this, there's nothing else.
This is the last bastion of hope, okay? And right now, we're on very shaky ground.
You don't think there's any other bastions of hope in the world?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Canada, maybe?
No.
No? Okay.
This is the last bastion of hope right here, okay? Right here, America, okay? God shed his grace on there.
A lot of people on the left are criticizing Glenn Beck for holding this on the 47th anniversary of the I Have a Dream speech. Do you think that's silly, or do you think there's a concern?
No, I think it was in a very appropriate day, because we all have a dream here now to bring this country back together.
Do you think there's some similarities that can be drawn?
Sure. How appropriate to have this gathering on the day that Martin Luther King said, I have a dream.
It's not insensitive, and the issue with Al Sharpton, who's going to bring his Black Panthers here to meet us here and cause some kind of an incident is wrong, because Al Sharpton doesn't own the day. The black people of America don't own the day. The African Americans don't own the day. Nobody owns this day. Okay? It's not just
we don't own George Washington as Caucasian. No one owns George Washington, and no one owns Martin Luther King.
A lot of what people were concerned with was that the person who was speaking on the anniversary from the same place was also someone who had accused Barack Obama of being a racist with a deep-seated hatred for white people. And so they're saying that they have a problem with that. What do you think about that? What do you think about
Glenn Beck said that?
Glenn Beck said that.
I don't think so. I think you're getting that wrong.
You don't think Glenn Beck said that Barack Obama was a racist?
No, I don't think he said that.
You think he said that?
I haven't heard him say that.
Yeah, do you know about Glenn Beck having said that Barack Obama was a racist?
I never heard him say he was racist. I've never heard Glenn say that.
Yeah.
I've never heard him actually be disrespectful to the president.
Glenn Beck is not going to say that. You're just turning words around here. I know where you're at, and I ain't talking to you anymore.
You didn't hear when Glenn Beck referred to Obama as a racist?
No.
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't. We'll tell you what we did find very surprising today.
If I heard that, I'd believe it. Because he is a bit of a racist and a bit of an elitist.
I agree with him.
And why is that?
Barack Obama has done nothing but separated his country and caused blacks and whites against each other, and that's not fair.
And how's he done that? How's that?
A long list of things.
Okay, you have to read his books because it's in there. His dad has a deep-seated hatred against white people. Okay, and as far as any of his other ideologies, I can only tell you that, like the scripture says, out of the abundance of a man's heart, so he speaks. If he's going to take the time to write that stuff down and put it in the historical record, then something is going on.
I can't believe this country would elect someone so anti-progress and pride of America that would willfully destroy the country and divide us so sharply again on the issue of race.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that. I'm not prepared to believe that
our president who represents all of us would do that.
I agree with the both the people that I don't think he's even a legalized citizen.
And do you think he's a Christian?
I think he's Muslim in heart. He only joined the Christian church in Chicago for political gain.
I don't think he has faith in our country. I don't think he believes in our country. I don't think he ever did.
No, that's a big thing to say, though, to say that, you know, he ran for president, he didn't believe in the country.
Well, if the shoe fits. That's just my opinion, and I'm an American, and I'm allowed to have my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I do have freedom of speech, and the way the current government is going, I'm not going to have that freedom.
Where has the current administration started to take away freedom of speech?
Well, you're not allowed to pray at the monuments anymore. Now, what's the deal with that? You're not allowed to pray in you're not allowed to say the Lincoln Monument.
You're not allowed to pray at the Lincoln Monument?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
We were just told about that the other day on the news. So, I mean, it's a lot of little stuff like that I think is stupid. And one day we're not going to be able to do what we want to do. And they just need to back off.
Well, if you want to laugh, go ahead and laugh. Take back America, restoring the honor. Well, I don't know who raped America to restore her honor. These people, they are nothing but pry. Glenn Beck and company, they know that with these messages of emotional messages, you know, that last woman with that big shoe, if the shoe fit, wear it. She had no clue what the heck she was talking about. And she started making up things. Oh, we can't pray at the Lincoln Memorial. Well, who told you can't pray at the Lincoln Memorial? Or I heard it in the news. I doubt if she heard it in the news. But hey, they say these things, they know it's wrong, but these people believe it. Or it was good. One of them, she said that Barack Obama put the people in the United States against each other, blacks against white. Really? Barack Obama did that? Barack Obama put blacks and whites against each other? Maybe if you try slavery, you might be closer at the right answer. Maybe if you realize that Glenn Beck did this on the 28th I Have a Dream speech anniversary, and no black people were in his gathering, one black woman. So this is the Glenn Beck. Who's dividing the country? Who's dividing the country based on religion? Now they want to promote this religious stuff. Now everybody is religious. They want to promote religion in this country. Now why are they doing that? Why Fox Network? Fox Network, the sponsor of Glenn Beck, the one who made Glenn Beck, the kingmakers. Why? Why are they doing this when they themselves doing everything they can to destroy religion in this country? Why is it now, though? Why this fever of religion, this religious fervor? Why is it? What is the purpose? Is it because Glenn Beck and Fox Network now they are turning into the Christian broadcast network? Are they turning into evangelists all of a sudden? Of course not. But they pry on people like these you've seen in the documentary. And I wish if the other documentary actually worked, because there were other stuff in the other documentary that actually worse than what you saw. And it drives the point of who they are concentrating on. And it happened to be the majority in the country. It happened to be the majority in the country. promoting religion. Glenn Beck is far from religion, but now he sounds like a preacher. He sounded like an evangelist with God and prayers. I'm not against prayers. I'm a conservative. I'm not a liberal. I believe in prayers. And I don't mind prayers at school either. Okay? So, you will know where I'm at and where I stand. I don't mind prayers at school. I don't mind prayers anywhere. Okay? As long as you don't infringe on other people with your prayers. But this religious fervor, why? Because it's a Christian country. They woke up one day and figured out that, hey, this is a Christian country. Well, that's not the point. The point is they want this Christian thing. We're Christians. Well, why are we promoting Christianity now? Because on the other hand, the enemy of both, the enemy of Christianity and Islam, is putting these two great religions against each other. What they're doing on the other hand? Well, they took a preacher, a pastor, not a known pastor, no one knew him, Terry Jones in Florida. By the way, he canceled his plans to burn the Quran. So he's not going to burn the Quran. But from the beginning, and you know how I felt about this, burning the Quran or not, the Quran is in the minds and hearts of Muslims. So you can burn as many books as you want, you're not going to touch one iota of the Quran. The Quran will remain preserved as it has been for the last 1400 years. So give that a rest. But what was the purpose of all that? Why would the media, the mainstream media, CNN and Fox and everybody else, 24 hours a day bringing you the stuff about Terry Jones? Terry Jones was not the first one to actually burn the Quran. And the Quran had been burned before by people who did not agree with Muslims. Right here in the United States, some churches had burned the Quran. Some pastors, I should say, had burned the Quran. No big deal. The media did not cover it because there was nothing in it. Now you get someone with 50 followers in a very small church, in trouble with the law, about to lose his building because of his cricket business dealings. So they get him to do this and they cover him 100%. Everyone in the media covers it and made a big deal out of it until it became a big deal throughout the world. Do you think this happened just by chance? No. This is well thought out and executed plan. It doesn't matter if this guy would have burnt the Quran or not. The damage is already done. It split the people in the United States for people who are pro-burning the Quran because they don't like Muslims, or pro-burning the Quran because, hey, it's the freedom. Our freedom. You've heard these people on Glenn Beck rally, or at Glenn Beck rally. They were talking about, we don't want to lose our freedoms. We want our freedoms. So they are hitting you where it hurts. They are hitting you with your emotions. Freedom. You're going to lose your freedom. We have to take the country back under God. What they have done is created an environment there. Now you are susceptible to anything they will give you. Your brains have opened up with this Terry Jones thing. Now the talk is going to be, well, the Muslims won because Terry Jones had every right to express himself in burning the Quran. Because this is America, we're free. So now I bet you some of you who even did not like the idea that Terry Jones canceled under pressure his plan to burn the Quran, Now you're probably upset because he lost his freedom of expressions, and this is America, the Muslims won. Hey, it sounds very reasonable. But then this guy saying that he will be going to New York to speak to the imam of that Islamic center. You know, these two stories kind of got out there together. The Islamic center in New York, that many rallies with people who look like the Glenn Beck rally went to. You know, the mainstream America, the white, the tattoos, the middle age, the conservatives, the semi-religious. Because you know what? If any one of these people are religious, they will know that religions teach tolerance. They teach love. They don't teach hate. And when you burn a book that belongs to somebody else's religion, especially 1.5 billion people in the world, well, that's hate. But this known preacher, pastor, no one knew him. He has 50 followers, and probably at his Sunday services, he might have 10 or 15 of them. Because, you know, not everybody goes to the congregation, not all the congregation goes. Some people don't go some weeks. So let's say he has 20 people. Now he wants to go and meet with the imam in New York to talk about the Islamic Center in New York, to move it away from ground zero programming. Again, the media programmed you to accept that is called the ground zero mosque. Ground zero, it's so emotional. You get upset when you hear that. So now you have ground zero, and if Pastor Terry Jones, if he fails in convincing the Muslims up there in New York to move their Islamic Center away from ground zero, even though it is not in ground zero, it's blocks away from ground zero. Who named it ground zero anyway? So if he goes up there, and of course, you know, if it's that easy to move this center, just to have somebody say, hey, I'm going to burn the Quran or we'll move the center. You know, that's like holding a gun to one of your children, saying, if you don't do it, I'm going to blow his brains out. Well, it's not going to work that easy. And I don't think the Muslims are going to move that Islamic center away from wherever it is. But even that Islamic center itself is not really the problem. So Terry Jones, the Islamic Center, this Dove Christian outreach, or international outreach, all these is nothing but a tool for those people who are programming you. The whole thing's, see, the damage is done. So now we know there are Christians in the country who had problems with the Muslims, and the Muslims won. Then more Christians going to feel we better win. He's going to lose in New York. So he lost again, and the Muslims won. And then before you know it, you are hating Muslims. Now, on top of that, they will start showing you, and you've already seen some of these demonstrations in Pakistan and in Afghanistan, in Muslim countries, where they are chanting, and you will see more and more with stuff like this hitting the media. You will be seeing more and more Muslims dressed up in the Muslims' garb that you are so familiar with, the Bin Laden look, if you might, or if you may. Then they're going to be chanting "Death to America" and burning the American flag, and calling the United States the big Satan. Well, how are you going to feel about those Muslims? Exactly my point. So the damage is done. You already don't really like too much, and some of you probably were the majority of people in the United States. They really did not get dragged into this Muslims Christian thing. But they're trying their darnest best to bring you into this fight, to make the fight between you as a Christian and the Muslims, or as some like to call them, the Muslims. This is the story. This is what they are working on for one reason and one reason only. Because no one in the media needed to go and cover an idiot who wants to burn a book. Nobody. And it was not until mainstream media got into the act for some, I was going to say godly reason, but it's not godly reason. It is a calculated reason. They wanted to push you to start hating the Muslims. So when they go to attack Iran, you are right there already on board. That's why. That's the reason. You see, right now, Israel wants us to go and attack Iran. Israel wants us to actually go there and help them in attacking Iran. It is not bad enough that they made us, the United States, go and attack and destroy a country that did not do us any harm, that is Iraq. Now they want the country, they want the United States, Israel that is, want the United States to go and attack Iran. Well, you are not on board, and that created a problem for the powers that be. The powers that have been creating wars. And it is not the government that you see in front of you. It is the government behind the government. It is the people who rule our rulers. People with money and influence. People who can come to your brain and tell you, we want you to go this way. And that's exactly what they are doing. They want you on board. You did not come by yourself to be on board with the war against Iran. So they're going to drag you kicking and screaming into their game. Well, I guess we can go to the phones with, let's see, Chris on 3. Amigo?
Yes, hello, Dr. Tillawi. This is Brother Freedom here. I want to ask you a question about the local radio station.
Yes.
You asked KVOL with Michael Savage, who's pushing this whole thing, and Sean Hannity every single day talks about Sharia law. Do you think that these, especially these two talk radio shows, do you think that they are trying to foster hate against the Muslims, or are they trying to get their people out to the polls to vote against Obama, or what's their motive? Thanks very much.
Thank you. Excellent question, and I thank you for bringing that point. The Sharia law. Number one, it's all of the above. But the main thing, they want people, when they go to attack Iran, they want people to be already on board that it's a Muslim country, let it go. That's what they don't have now. So with the, by the way, I used Glenn Beck because he is the star of that bunch. He is the star. But you have Sean Hannity and Michael Savage and Rush Limbaugh and everybody else pouring in the same direction of hate the Muslims, hate the Muslims, hate the Muslims. Number one is going to work to their advantage in November. But the main thing is, when they go to attack Iran, people will be on board. Let's talk a little bit about the Sharia law. Number one, as you are, if you're familiar with the program, I always tell you, whenever you hear a foreign word, always try to translate it, because it will sound much better when you hear it in English. Like when you hear the word Allah, well, to your foreign brain, it doesn't register right. You call him God, but if you say God, then it's much calmer because you understand that one. And with Sharia, if you don't speak Arabic, you think with Sharia, it sounds like, whoa, Sharia. You get scared just listening to that word. Now, if you translate it into English, it will be legislation. Legislation based on religious doctrine. We have that in the United States. Ask the diocese. They have many laws that are based on religious doctrines. Mainly laws that have to deal with civil disagreements between people, that mainly have to do with marriage, divorce. Of course, Catholics don't believe in that, but they found a way around it. And also inheritance and many things. Now, let me educate you, ladies and gentlemen, because they also count on you being not educated in those matters. When they say, we don't want Sharia law in the United States, do you have any idea what it takes, ladies and gentlemen, to change one small legislation? Do you know what it takes to introduce a law in the United States? And if you are to introduce Sharia law, that means you have to actually change the Constitution. Do you know what it takes to change the Constitution? Do you know what it takes to have an amendment to the Constitution or to change an amendment to the Constitution? Plus, we have something called the Bill of Rights. That one, it cannot be changed. But let's go with the ones that can change. Number one, Sharia law, it's so huge that to introduce it to the United States, you need probably about maybe 10, 15 years of doing nothing but introducing bills, or maybe more. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what is more important, to change an amendment in the Constitution, that means you have to be in total control of Congress. Now, when do you think the Muslims in the United States will have that kind of power to control both houses of Congress 100% so they can do an amendment? Anytime soon, like in the next 10, 15,000 years? I don't think so. On top of that, they would have to control the media 100% so they can sell you on these ideas and drill on your head and program you to accept Sharia law. Now, do you think anytime the Muslims will have the Zionist power in the United States where they control the media anytime soon, ladies and gentlemen? No, not in the next 5,000, 6,000 years. And at that time, you don't have to worry about it. Well, the other way to actually have Sharia law here is everybody in the United States would have to be a Muslim. Now, when do you really think that's going to happen? Anytime soon? Anytime that you need to really be worried about Sharia law, all Sharia law is legislation based on religious doctrine that deals with inheritance, divorce, and money. If you never, and marriage. So, do you think, and on top of this, even if Muslims somehow, they control both houses of Congress, they control the president so he can sign that bill, they control the media, they control money, and on top of that, once they introduce this thing, it will not apply to you. You know why? Because it's religious doctrines based on religion, and if Islam is not your religion, then you don't have to worry about it. Okay? So do you see all this fuss they're making about Sharia law? I thank Freedom for calling in, and because you see that on signs. No to Sharia law, Michael Savage. We don't want Sharia law. Well, that's what it will take, ladies and gentlemen. I just explained to you how Sharia law will be introduced. Do you really have anything to worry about? But if you look at these signs, if you look at the mainstream media, if you look at Glenn Beck, if you look at Sean Hannity and everybody else, these idiots, these programmers. That's how the media program your brains. They got PhDs, people who have doctorates in many fields, in psychology, in sociology, in religion, in this and that, who will design, just like a computer programmer, and sometimes programmers will sit there and design a huge program. The powers that be have those people working for them, and they are designing programs just for you to go into your brains. The next thing, ladies and gentlemen, they are working on is they want you on board when they go to attack Iran. That's it. We go on to the phones, even though I'm not really sure which ones, but we will go with one on line one. And we'll see who's on line one.
Amigo.
Amigo, welcome to the program. We got like seconds.
Okay, Doc. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, listen. My observation is this. This preacher, he only has 30 members. So what the Republicans are doing, they're killing 3 birds with 1 stone. Number one, the election is coming up, all right? They promised him something for him to do all this. Secondly, I'm trying to talk fast because you said we don't know. Listen, my thing is, if you and I tomorrow go and burn the rebel or the United States flag in front of the federal courthouse, they would arrest us for hate crime. Why can't they see what I see and the students of Florida that want to demonstrate Saturday against this damn preacher about, okay, this is a hate crime. Right. I can't understand why Obama administration not doing nothing about this. Is a hate crime.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks. That was an excellent point, by the way, because we do have laws against inciting hate towards other people, and it is a hate crime. Because with him burning that Quran, it gives the ideas to others that these people are not worth of living. And many Muslim mosques and Islamic centers around the country have been vandalized. Now, we are blessed here in this area, but we should not. This is, if Glenn Beck wanted to take back America, then we should have seen all Americans in that rally, not just few. We should have seen Muslims, we should have seen Jews, we should have seen blacks, Chinese. That's what America is. White. That's what America is. America is not just Glenn Beck country, and is not Zionist country either. So, that was an excellent point, and it is a hate crime. Now, this pastor, he canceled his plans. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I was headed to Florida to cover this and talk to these people to see if any of them ever read the Quran. You have a problem with the Quran, you want to burn the Quran, and you have no clue, and you don't know what's in it, but yet you want to burn it. Well, maybe if you look to see what's in it, you might learn something. Extra curriculum, just for the heck of it, general information. Don't you want to know what's in something before you burn it? You should. Again, burning a Quran is not going to hurt the Quran, Islam, or Muslims. It is going to create hatred between different people. And yes, this Pastor Jones, he should be charged with a hate crime or conspiracy to commit hate crime, because that's exactly what he did. Anyway, well, this is where we're at now, and this is the program, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something out of it. I hope we were able to make some sense into a weird world. But the main thing, ladies and gentlemen, be aware of your TV. be aware of your TV, because your TV is programming you. Your radio is programming you. The media is programming you to believe in one thing and one thing only. So be careful. Don't fall. Same trick. You know what George Bush tried to say one time? Show me, what is it? Now I'm drawing blank, you know? Anyway, we have to go. We have only like 5 seconds to the end of the program. So good night. We will see you next time, same place, same time, same channel. Are we? And this guy here, he hasn't been here in a while, so I guess he will, well, not anymore.
That's as bad.
But when did I go out? Why you didn't tell her?
I did. No, we didn't.
I need the 10-second count, you know, so I can wrap it up.
You had it. It was perfect.
You know what?